Oh, I accidentally started the recording. Okay. Oh, I have blood on my face. Right, this is going great. So, I don't even have time to collect my thoughts. I bought. Dang it! Like, I bought. Well, what even is it? Hope my pants don't fall down. I bought texturizing powder. Woo! So the well, I guess we'll put some in. I don't. It's gonna look horrible. Maybe I should change my lighting. Is that better? I look weird. I guess this is mirrored. Cause like, when I do that, wait no. Well, I don't know. Oh my god, it's really hard to use this camera and figure out like what I'm doing. Dude, it's like so trippy. I don't know. It's got to be like mirrored or something, but I could also read it. Maybe that means it isn't. Oh my gosh, I'm like stupid. I don't. I like woke up, but I didn't wake up. I guess I slept for 5 hours. I feel like I'm doing this wrong. Oh my gosh, why is it like that? Oh my god, I probably shouldn't have put in more. This video is off to an amazing start. Obviously, very exciting stuff. Yeah, I give up. This is this this is just what it's gonna be like. So, got a couple things that I want to talk about. Um, let's see. What was I going? I guess we'll talk about this one first, cause I remember what I was gonna talk about. So, I'm actually stupid. So, I think I have figured out what my biggest weakness is. Okay. You know, like stupid job question they ask, like, "Oh, what's your greatest weakness?" And you're like, "Oh, I work too hard or whatever." Well, I mean, that's not true about me. My dad told me that I should say kryptonite. He said the reason for that is that it's an easy reference to get, and they'll be like, "Oh," and then they'll feel good about themselves, right? Because they got the reference, right? They'll feel good about themselves. So if you're making your boss feel good, that obviously will work. And then you say something, like real afterwards. Like you can't just say kryptonite, right? But my actual weakness is absolutely routines. They are just horrible. I just hate them. I want to die. Watch this video get the suicidal warning like my other one did. I don't care if it does. So if it does, it does. It probably will. Okay, this is definitely mirrored. It's or not mirrored. It's not mirrored. That's why it looks weird. Is that it isn't mirrored, and so it's like difficult to understand which side of my head I'm looking at. So so I'm very thirsty. Yeah, when I was young, I was kind of raised in almost defiance of routines, and also I'm just naturally gonna be dispositioned towards this. That's just what happened. even if I was like an orphan, right? I would have naturally just hated routines. I'm sure of it. But also, my dad and stuff, he doesn't like those people that raise their kids almost to, like, they have to have white noise to fall asleep, or, they just need everything to be just so to fall asleep, or to do this or whatever, right? He raised me an exact opposite of that. However, and I actually completely agree with him, okay? However, when I have to be in a routine, I actually want to kill myself. Like, I'm not even kidding, it makes me suicidal. Like, it makes it feel like there's no point to living when I have to be in a routine. Like, basically any kind of routine. The only, like, actual routine I've kept is brushing my teeth when I wake up and go to sleep. Which actually isn't that much of a routine when you realize that I don't go to sleep and wake up at the same time, nor do I sleep the same amount of time every day. Okay? Last night, I slept 5 hours. The night before, it was probably like 9 hours. I've slept 16 hours straight, not sick or anything. That's unrelated. I don't know why I said that. But, like, when I had a job, because I'm unemployed, I was making decent money or whatever. It was fine. I kind of hated my job, but because I wasn't interested in it at all. But that's not going to make me want to die, right? I'm not naturally suicidal. When I had a job, for the first month or two, I don't know how long actually. It's very hard for me to remember when I was depressed, like things that happened when I was depressed. I went to sleep. Like, I would just get off the PC at 11:15 and go to bed, and I'd get basically 8 hours of sleep every night. Okay, I did that around a month or two. I That is probably one of the times I have wanted to kill myself the most in my entire life. Oh my god! And it's not because of the work. It's not because of anything else. Because it improved. I still hated the job and everything. But when I started staying up and sleeping 3 hours and stuff like that, not always 3 hours, but like adding variation, not falling asleep at the same time every night, not sleeping the same amount, switching things up, I felt way, way better. And just, stuff like school and stuff, like, it felt like an endless loop. Like, I would look ahead sometimes, I'd be like, it's never gonna end. There's no point on being alive, right? That would just happen to me. So I just genuinely suck in routines. Like, okay, a really good example is Stardew Valley, which is supposed to be a relaxing game, right? However, it drove me absolutely insane. I actually really liked the game. It was a well-made game, nice graphics, whatever. I liked the art. The mechanics were good. However, it had a bedtime, right? And I mean, it's like no major consequences for not going to bed on time, but I mean, like, you lose a little bit of the day. You lose a little, like, and you're like more tired or whatever. And then there's also a calendar, so you can miss stuff. That requires you to have a routine, right? It's not like a super restrictive routine, but it's enough to drive me absolutely insane. Okay? When I was playing that, it activated like a little timer in my head that would permanently go, and slowly pressure would slowly build up inside of me, right? And if I'm playing this game for, just relaxing, it's not working. And I played the game for hours sometimes, which actually drive me nuts, right? Because I really like the game, but the routine aspects of it were driving me crazy. But in a game like Overwatch, it doesn't bother me because the game ends, and it's a competitive game, right? It doesn't bother me. Even though there's a timer, I understand there's a timer. It's no big deal. Or in like Minecraft, it doesn't bother me. No timer, no big deal, right? You can just hang out. You could get to a safe space, which is actually super easy. Get to a safe point in Minecraft, and you could just walk away from the computer for hours, and everything will be fine, right? And so I can feel super relaxed while playing Minecraft. And so routines actually drive me nuts. I just feel way more comfortable in a chaotic, um, environment, right? Like in a, I don't know. I just feel like it's not even happiness. It's like fulfillment. I feel fulfilled when I'm in chaos, and I feel like I'm wasting my life when I'm stuck in like routines and stuff. Okay, even like little tiny routines that nobody, because I've never heard anybody talk about like this. Okay, like I've never heard anybody be this intolerable of this kind of thing. Like most people talk about how relaxing and stuff. Like I hate driving because I'm just sitting there doing nothing. I'm just sitting there doing nothing. It's super boring, but I can't like go do something else. Like I can just go on my phone or play Block Blast, wherever, right? Or like I hate the gym as well. Like my friends love the gym, and I like doing athletic stuff, right? I love climbing and stuff. But the gym is super, super boring, and I also suck at it because every time I go there, I get bored, and then I try and go for failure because I'm bored. Exact same issues with driving. I basically dislike them the exact same amount. And they're also very routine oriented generally in people's lives. Driving and the gym. They drive me nuts. Um, yeah, that's the one thing. I don't remember what the other thing was about. It had something to do with. Oh, okay, I remember it. So yesterday, I just hit my overall best peak on Overwatch. I have less than 350 hours, more than 300. I don't remember exactly where in Overwatch. Um, dang, this is gonna be a longer video. But I just hit plat 3, okay, which is fine. That's my highest peak in DPS. Which I mean, this is my first FPS. I mean, unless you count Sea of Thieves, but I'm not counting Sea of Thieves. And if you count, I mean, Minecraft is not an FPS, but obviously I'm getting a lot of my skills from that. And I guess if you count Aim Labs, maybe, I don't know. I think I played Aim Labs before it, but I never really mained it before I played Overwatch. Anyway, I want to talk about what happened yesterday because I hit it yesterday, okay? And I had already been in plat, where I plat 5. My peak was plat 4 in open queue, okay? And I hit plat probably a few days ago with my friend, okay? He started playing again. We instantly hit plat. It was actually his first time in DPS plat as well. It's pretty cool actually. But yesterday, I got on the game, and I was just kind of losing, okay? Like, not badly, like I lost like 3 in a row, whatever. It felt, but it just wasn't working. And finally I was like, okay, I'm like actually starting to get heated, which usually doesn't happen with Overwatch. I actually quite like, what the heck? I actually quite like Overwatch. Like, it doesn't drive me crazy. But I was starting to get a little bit heated, a little bit emotional. So I was like, okay, I should just stop for today. I'm gonna be throwing, like, this just isn't the day. I'm just gonna break. However, after an hour, and even during the hour and everything, I just couldn't stop thinking to myself about how, like, I was clearly doing something wrong, and I wanted to figure out what it was. So I went back, even though I was supposed to be doing schoolwork. I went back. I played again, but I did it. I played differently, right? I tried to use my brain because I wanted to figure out what was going wrong. It wasn't even about winning anymore. It was figuring out what was going wrong. Okay, and I ended up playing a lot more patiently that game. And I didn't go for, like, ego kills as much because mechanically I'm a lot better than the majority of the people in my rank, right? But I mean, I'm in the rank for a reason, right? So it's clearly not mechanics. So I stopped going for the ego, and sure, on scoreboard I was starting to perform slightly worse just on the scoreboard. However, suddenly I've won 14 games and only lost 2 of them. That's pretty good, right? And, like, at the very end I got a 6 win streak, which is how I got plat 3. But I turned it around, and I think a lot of people would have said, "Oh, this is not the day," right? Which is what I was about to do. But if you think about that, you're like subconsciously blaming it not on something that you did, but on the day that it happened. Which obviously, if you go and another day, new mindset, whatever, it might work. But it wasn't the day that was at fault. It was you. It was me at fault. I kept going for ego duels. I kept being impatient. What was the other thing? I kept being like impatient, and I just wasn't using my brain as much, right? That game that I played, where I was like trying to figure it out, it made me realize that I was kind of falling into, like, I just wasn't thinking. Like, I was just playing with my arms, just brute force, instead of actually thinking about how to beat them. And yeah, I just started winning over and over again, right when I figured it out. I just climbed like crazy.